Deafrowe with Deafrowe Closed Caption, and I'm back again with another review. And this week I'm going to be doing a Romero review on several of Romero's, well, specifically Romero movies, but also remakes of his movies. So let's get started, shall we? Before I get started, like, subscribe, and share to Deafrowe Closed Caption. And today's review is Night of the Living Dead, of course, and this awesome intro that you can see playing out here from the original 1968 movie, and black and white, as you can see. But I like this version of it because it's very clear black and white. I don't like this. I don't like to watch the grainy, all scratched up black and white images stuff that they just don't look cool to me when they're all boogered up or whatever. But I love it when they go back and clean up these black and white films and make them real clear like this so you can actually see what's going on. You can see the cracks and all that stuff. Everything's very defined. So yeah, that's one of the things I like about watching this in the original black and white is if it's cleaned up black and white, then it's really good. But if it's like a very bad transfer of some sort, it's not good at all. I like this little shot right here. I'm gonna pause it once it gets to it. There we go. Yeah, I like this little shot where they're going into the cemetery and you see the cemetery signs all shot up and all kind of rusty and stuff like that. Anyway, this is Night of the Living Dead, 1968, in the original black and white, starring Dwayne Jones, Judith O'Dea, Carl Hardman, Marilyn Eastman, Keith Wayne, Judith Ridley, Kyra Schoen, Charles Craig, and then the original zombie that you see at the very beginning of this is a man named S. William Heinzman. Pretty cool dude. It's kind of funny that he does a later zombie movie, which he wasn't supposed to do based off this movie here. So he got a little bit of trouble with that. But he did it anyway. Flesh Eater. I don't know if y'all will check that movie out. Alright, and just to give you an idea, this movie was originally supposed to be called Night of the Flesh Eaters. And because there was another movie with a similar name at that time, they didn't want to release it under that name. And Image 10 had to rename it, on the fly and, pretty quickly. So they renamed it to Night of the Living Dead. But when they did that, they accidentally blocked out the copyright notice at the beginning of the movie. So Night of the Living Dead over like the wording on the film overlaid the copyright notice. So technically this movie didn't have a copyright notice when it came out, and that's why you see so many copies of this movie in different formats on all kinds of stuff. You'll see it in combination DVD packages and that kind of thing. It's in various different qualities. I mean, it's some of the qualities are so bad you can't really make out what's happening on the screen. So that's one of the things I like about this one that I'm showing you tonight. Is this is original black and white, but it's very cleaned up, and everything's very clear in this movie as well. Now, another thing I will say before I get started on this review and go through this and everything is I do have a version of Night of the Living Dead on my channel, Deafrowe TV, if you want to give it a look-see. It was done by Hal Roach Studios after they bought the Colorization Inc. in the 1980s. And around 1985, the studios decided they were going to go back and colorize old films that were in black and white, and one of them was Night of the Living Dead, as you can see on my channel. That was a Hal Roach Studios colorization of Night of the Living Dead, and in my opinion, it's not that bad. If I had to watch it in colorization, that's the way I would want to watch it, in that old it's fairly clear, but it's not, it's still got a grainy look to it, but it's not so, the film's not so scratched up and everything that you can't tell what's going on. so it actually comes off pretty decent. And the color itself looks the age of the movie, so it kind of works. But with that said, I do prefer the original black and white, but only if it's cleaned up. I don't like watching these ones that are all scratched up and ugly looking and you can't tell what's going on the screen, like I said before. Without further ado, like I said, that one I have is on my channel on Deafrowe TV. If you want to watch a colorized version of this movie, you can, and it's available out there. I'll post a link down in the description of this review. So let's get started, shall we? Of course, Barbara, and of course the unaccredited Russell Strainer. I hope I'm saying his last name right. He plays the brother of Barbara. So yeah, he plays Johnny, and you see Johnny. He utters one of the most famous lines in this movie. "They're coming to get you, Barbara." This guy right here, and why he's unaccredited, I don't know. But his name is Russell Strainer. For those that don't know, that's Johnny. So they're at the cemetery. They're discussing why they're there. The mother sends them up there ever so often on a Sunday to replace the flowers on the grave for either her brother. Either it's her brother or it's their father. I'm not sure if it's the father, because Johnny keeps talking about how he wouldn't even know what he looks like anymore. He can't even remember what he looks like anymore. So I want to say it's the mother's brother and not really the father, because I wouldn't think you would forget your father's face that easily. And of course they're going there and they're talking about, like, I wonder if somebody is just basically selling back our stuff to us every year when we come up here, which is kind of funny. And then the zombie attacks. That's what he was messing with Barbara a little bit, saying, "Oh, they're coming to get you, Barbara." As this dude right here is approaching, and this is the Heinzman guy that goes on to do different, S. William Heinzman, Bill Heinzman, whatever you want to call him. The first time we get to see a zombie in a Romero movie is Bill Heinzman, so pretty cool. Anyway, he attacks Johnny. Johnny knocks his head onto a tombstone. He passes out, and she gets in the car and apparently doesn't know how to drive and runs into a damn tree. Well, she didn't have the keys anyway, so when she just undid the emergency brake and just let it coast into a damn tree. Then she gets out of the car because the zombie's still coming. She races to a nearby country house, farmhouse of some sort. And that's where old dude comes in later. It's like, "Hey, I'm almost out of gas, and there's a gas pump, on this farm, but it's got a lock on it." So he's trying to figure out how to get some gas so they can keep going. And she's just completely out of her mind at this point because of all the stuff that's happened. Johnny's gone. And then she doesn't understand why these folks are chasing her, and there's dead bodies in that house. So it's like, what the hell? So she's just absolutely checked out, pretty much. Because he goes out there and tries to fend off some of the zombies and give them a little bit of time to board up the house. And so he's getting them out, locking up all the doors and everything, and he's getting all the nails together. He's trying to, put the stuff to board up the house and everything. And of course, she's still just kind of moping around trying to figure out what to do. I do like the way she portrays the total blankness that comes over her. That's pretty good acting, in my opinion. I mean, she looks like somebody really in shock. So, I mean, it's pretty damn good. And of course, he's trying to keep things together. You see the stuff that's boarded up behind him on basically the window to the door there, trying to keep that shut. Now, this whole time, they didn't know you know, there's people down in the basement that they didn't know was down there, and of course he's up there trying to board up the place. And about that time, so he finds a gun. He finally finds some bullets, and of course he finds the dead body upstairs. Somebody that had been killed that was turned into a zombie. I'm assuming because the face is shot off, pretty much. So he's like trying to move that body out of the way so they don't have to look. And then this dude comes out of the freaking basement all of a sudden. And this is Carl Hardman playing Harry Cooper. Yeah, he comes out of the basement and he's like giving him shit for, you know, making all that noise. And then of course here comes I think this is Keith Wayne playing Tom, the younger dude here. And I won't say he's the nephew of the owner of the house or something like that. And they're trying to figure out a way to get to that gas pump, unlock it, fill his truck up so they all can get away in the truck. And I think he like knows where the keys is, but he's not sure whether the keys will work or not. So they're gonna have to buy some time when they get out there to the pump. And of course, you got all these weird zombies eating just random stuff off trees and whatever. It's kind of weird. Alright, let's see. Of course, you got the daughter, which is played by Kyra Sean, who has been bitten, and they have her in the in the basement, you know, just waiting to see what happens or whatever, or they were trying to, you know, save her, get her to a doctor of some sort. Doesn't look good though, for obvious reasons. And of course you see there, go back a little bit, the younger girl is Judith Ridley, who plays Judy. So let's keep going here. I love some of the way some of these are shot. I mean, this is obviously, it looks like somebody used to live here, and they're not the people that live here, obviously. And you've got the pictures in the background on the wall. This is somebody's home, and they're taking refuge. And of course, now you got the newscaster Charles Craig comes up and he's talking about, you know, what's going on, what are they doing, how you supposedly can get rid of them and everything like that. And then you got the sheriff and all those people roaming around, you know, like. And of course, he's like trying to figure out like how to get out of there, but he's causing a ruckus with Dwayne over like how they divvy up how to get out of there, basically. And Dwayne's like, no, we need to get gas first and foremost, or we ain't gonna get very far at all. So that's when they come up with a plan to try to get the gas, but they're trying to keep the zombies back at the same time, and it doesn't work out very well. So he's trying to keep them away while they try to get the gas. And of course, it doesn't work. And something happens. I forget what it. If I'm not, yeah, there it is. Like he loses. You know, they're all panicky as it is, and so it's probably not a good idea to just go out there and play with gasoline. As you can see right here. So Judith goes out there with him, and she's going to try to help get the gas and everything. And he just locks the door behind her. And so they're trying to get that gas. They're in the car. And of course, for some reason, he doesn't know they shoot him in the head yet, obviously. So they climb in the back of the truck. And they make their way up to the gas pump, and this is where the bad stuff happens. And they got to get away from the pump. They got to get away from the pump because the dumbasses poured gasoline all over the damn truck. And of course he's going to try to start it, but it's already been lit up, and it's too late. And this is where Tom and Judy say bye-bye. He's just like, I don't know what they're doing. Of course, the jacket's caught. Boom! Yeah. So you see what happens to them. I mean, all that freak out over trying to get some gas, and it screwed up everything. Because even though the zombies are moving very slowly, they're gathering in numbers and coming at you in such a way that makes you nervous to do anything. So he's at an end. He can't get any gas. He's lost the truck and lost 2 people in the process. And finally, the sheriff comes on TV and he's like, "Gotta shoot him in the head." And so that's what they figure out finally. Oh yeah. And the daughter the daughter of course dies and becomes a zombie. And of course Judith lets everybody in. He escapes to the basement. All these country folk are coming around to the house. And Dwayne's leaving the basement. He's the only one to survive at this point of this whole night at this little barn house. And of course these dumbasses, coming up on this house, they just think everybody in that house is a zombie because they see all the other zombies just accumulated around it. And Dwayne finally comes out. And they shoot him dead. The end. And then of course you see all this music starts to play, and it's like country ass music and bonfires with bodies on them and stuff like that, like they're going to try to take care of the situation. But the thing about this movie, Night of the Living Dead, it takes place in the middle of nowhere in the country. It's a lot easier to keep things, even though the zombies are slow, they can still mass them. They can still gain up on you in numbers, but with it being out in the middle of nowhere in the country, it's easier to take care of them, get them, mowed down and light a fire and burn them all. Whereas we find out in Dawn of the Dead later that if you go towards the city where there is more people, even though they move slow, you can't get away from them if they're everywhere. So, and that's my review of Night of the Living Dead, one of my favorite all-time movies from George A. Romero. I hope you liked some of the information that I put out there about it. If you like the review that I did, like, subscribe, and share to Deafrowe closed caption. And I'll catch you out on the other edge of another review. Deafrowe out.